Chapter 4. Bella's point of view. When the police arrived, people began to look at me. Their stares were so heated it made me want to duck my head and hide. Were they all silently accusing me of killing that man? Or maybe they all just wanted to stay away from me because they thought I was bad luck. I had that kind of reputation, it just seemed to them, that any guy was near me seemed to be hurt in some way. It wasn't my fault, but somewhere in my head, I knew all the people hurt were my fault. And it only got worse. I knew what my stalker wanted, and I knew how to end all of this. But I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be with a man who I had never seen, never heard, and who was a fucking psychopath. Miss, could you please come with us to headquarters? We would like to ask you a few questions. Seeing as you were standing next to the victim, we just need to clarify some things from your point of view. I looked up at the police officer, my stomach turning knots. Will it take long? My curfew is 20 minutes away. That was a shitty response. They didn't care about my curfew. He nodded. As long as your parents are home, then why don't we go to your house? We just need a few questions answered tonight, so we can clear this all up for our report. Model. Know your mom Jenna a bit from her work with food drives. So on the ride home, I was stuck in the back of a police car. I stared out the window, my stomach still feeling sick with dread. This was all his fault. Why the hell had he done this? My other thought was, oh shit, Jenna will have a heart attack when she sees a cop car pull up. The police car pulled up in front of my house. I opened the car door and hurriedly ran to my house. I hurriedly opened it. Jenna stood up from where she had been sitting at the table. What's going on? She asked, looking very confused and slightly scared when she saw the cops and the cop car behind me.
The first policeman stepped forward. Well, ma'am, a boy was just shot at the school.
Dance, and he had been standing right next to her, so we just wanted to know what she noticed. She did state she would prefer to be questioned here rather than the station, since you would be present. While he spoke, he was gazing at Jenna with the silly expression of a schoolboy in love. I raised an eyebrow at her, still a little shaken from the events that had happened, but slightly amused at the hints of red that has creeped into her cheeks. I'll be fine down here if you want to go upstairs, Jenna, I said softly. I think you might. No, Mr. I glanced at his name tag, Richardson. Oh, she said, a small smile coming over her face. You're Michael's brother. I saw you at the drive last month. Thanks so much for the extra security help.
He nodded and gave a small smile. Wasn't a problem, Mom.
Jenna blushed. Okay, I'll just be in my bedroom. You can sit in the dining room, as long as Bella's okay with it. I nodded, and she hurried upstairs and the two policemen took a seat at the table. So did you notice anyone arguing with or staring longer than normal at this boy during
The time he stood beside you? Asked the second one.
I shook my head. No.
Did he talk to you at all?
And the questions carried on until I started to yawn. Sorry we've kept you, Miss Ross. I'll let you get some sleep now. They walked to the door, but the first one stopped in the doorway and turned around.
Oh, and if your mom...
I interrupted him. She's not my mom. She just looks after me. Oh well, if she ever wants to see me again, my name's Gary. Okay, that was just disgusting. I shut the door and leaned against it, trying to get my heart to calm down. I was too tired for this. Sighing, I wandered up the stairs to my room. I was almost too scared to look around my room as I opened my door. Every night he left me a note, and I was not in the mood to deal with this killer who was obsessed with me. I opened my eyes, but no such luck. A piece of white paper sat on my bed. I went over and picked it up. It read,
Next time you go out, don't look so damn hot. Every boy in that room had their eyes on. You are mine. Don't forget that.
"Fuck this." I sat down hard on my bed. I was so confused. He was so possessive. Then he was so sweet. But in the messages that were sweet, they were generally hidden threats. I couldn't tell the police or anyone else about him, because then he would kill them. And maybe me, hell. I didn't know what he would do to get what he wanted. I fell back on my covers, and even though I was tired, I decided to get up and take a shower. Maybe that would clear my head. I went into the bathroom, and taking off my clothes, I threw them into the laundry basket and grabbed a pair of leggings and a t-shirt. I placed them on the counter and turned on the hot water. I opened Spotify and began playing Volatile Times by IAMX. It was a weird song, but it relaxed me as I stepped into the shower. About half an hour later, and yes, I take long showers, I stepped out and wrapped a towel around myself. I looked around as I felt a draft from the window. I shivered and slammed it shut. I turned to the counter, only to find my clothes were gone, and in their place a piece of paper. It only had a phone number on it. I stared at the number. Crap.